Now, the media pack have been pretty exercised about New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian declaring she won't necessarily turn up at the daily COVID-19 media conferences. She never should have got sucked into this routine in the first place. Thankfully, now she says she won't do it every day. That said, on day one of this new non-compulsory Gladys at 11 program, well, she went and turned up.
I was always scheduled to do today because of the key milestones we announced. Obviously, today is the first day. Many people have freedoms they didn't have before. And I want to stress that nothing has changed from my comments from last week. I'm on the job 24/7. In addition to managing the pandemic, we manage the state moving forward. And I'm always available, but I won't necessarily be here every day at 11 a.m. Some weeks I might be here every day. Other weeks I might be here intermittently.
Fair enough. Of course she's got to face scrutiny on the virus or on ICAC or anything else, but she won't dodge that. That won't happen. There'll be lots of press conferences, lots of other interviews. She's just saying she's not doing this COVID theatre every day. We've got to move on. Now, that's interesting and good on her. And I mentioned last week, of course, that Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews, he's stopped turning up every day as well. Well, and guess what? Today, he didn't turn up either. He left it to his ministers. Good on him. But there were no histrionics from the media pack about this. They just accepted it. Spot the difference, eh? Is it because he's Labor and she's Liberal? Or maybe the lovers of identity politics will bring gender into it. Let me bring in the media writer for the Australian newspaper, Sophie Ellsworth. Good to talk to you again, Sophie. How come Dan can skip a presser whenever he likes, but Gladys is pilloried for it?
Well, Chris, Teflon Dan, nothing sticks to him and he can do as he wishes. We've got a media press pack down here in Melbourne that is largely a fan base of Daniel Andrews. So he certainly doesn't appear to get the scrutiny that Gladys Berejiklian does. But I will say this, those daily press conferences are unnecessary. And if anything, I think they're damaging to people's mental health, Chris. I mean, they're demoralising. Down here in Victoria, they offer zero hope. The Premier has no roadmap and people down here are stressed watching them each day. I mean, I tune in for my work, obviously, but I find them demoralising and depressing, and I don't want to see the Premier talking every day about lecturing us and telling us off and not even telling us when he's going to release us from house arrest, Chris.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're part of the problem. They create the whole wrong dynamic, and I'm glad that Gladys Berejiklian is looking to push them to a side and not make them a daily theatre. Now, another big issue that you focused on in the Oz today is some more ABC personalities getting off Twitter because they're abused. Now, that abuse is terrible and they don't deserve that abuse. But this is the nature of Twitter. This is why they never should have been placing so much faith in it in the first place. Get out of there, journos, because it pollutes your whole perspective on the public debate.
Well, Chris, I'm on Twitter and I'm questioning why on earth I'm bothering with it. I mean, it's a vile cesspit that is full of anonymised trolls that spew hatred every day. I mean, I cop it relentlessly. I don't want any sympathy cards here, but some of the messages I've got, my colleagues got, fellow journalists have got, are just revolting. I wouldn't even repeat what I've got in my inbox on air. I'm not alone here, but you cannot have a decent conversation on Twitter. I am starting to think it's an absolute waste of time. People on there are utterly vile, largely. I get trolled most days. I mean, I was trending last week when the ABC called for basically a pile-on on me, and it went for 24 hours. I mean, this is relentless, it's bullying, it's outrageous, and Twitter do nothing to stop this.
Yeah, it is shocking, and unless you're pushing some hard green left agenda, you get it worse than everyone else, which is why you're very brave in that forum, Sophie. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Chris.
Sophie Ellsworth, the media writer for The Australian. And that's what's happened with these ABC journos. When they're pushing the sort of ABC line, they get all this love and adulation on Twitter. They dare to say something sensible now and then, and good on them, that it's not hard left. Then they get accused of being horrible conservatives or lackeys and whatever, and the most foul abuse. It's not good. Get off it. Good move.